Tipu Sultan was born in the year 1751. He was born in a small town in South India. His father's name was Hyder Ali. His mother's name was Fakhrun Nisa. Hyder Ali was a brave soldier. He later became the ruler of Mysore. He wanted his son Tipu to grow up strong and smart. From a young age, Tipu was different from other children. He liked to read books about war, kings, and heroes. He loved to learn new things. He learned how to ride a horse, how to use a sword, and how to shoot a gun. He also learned many languages. He could speak Persian, Arabic, and even a little French. Tipu was a fast learner. Tipu was very close to his father. Hyder Ali taught him how to lead an army and how to protect the people. He showed Tipu how to be kind but also strong. Tipu listened carefully and learned everything quickly. When Tipu was just 15 years old, he went to war with his father. It was a big war against the British East India Company. The British wanted to take control of Indian land. Hyder Ali wanted to stop them. He took his young son Tipu with him. In the battle, Tipu was very brave. He did not run away. He fought like a lion. Many soldiers were surprised to see a young boy fight so well. He followed his father's orders and helped win the battle. People started to talk about the brave boy named Tipu. After the war, Tipu continued his training. He learned how to build forts, how to make plans for battles, and how to care for the people of the kingdom. He also learned about farming, trade, and building roads. Tipu believed that a good ruler must help his people live better lives. Tipu also loved animals. His favorite animal was the tiger. He believed that the tiger was strong, fearless, and proud. He later called himself the Tiger of Mysore. This name showed his strength and courage. Even at a young age, Tipu hated the British rule in India. He saw how they treated Indian people unfairly. He promised himself that he would fight them and protect his land. He wanted freedom for Mysore and for all of India. Tipu Sultan was no ordinary child. He was smart, brave, and full of dreams. This was just the beginning of his journey. One day, he would become one of the greatest rulers in Indian history. When Tipu Sultan was 31 years old, something very big happened. His father, Hyder Ali, died in the year 1782. Tipu was very sad. He loved his father very much. But Tipu knew that he had to be strong. Now he had to take his father's place. He became the new ruler of Mysore. Many people were worried. They thought Tipu was too young to be a king. But Tipu quickly showed that he was ready. He worked hard every day. He listened to his advisors, but he also made his own smart decisions. The people of Mysore started to believe in him. They saw that Tipu was not just brave, but also wise and kind. As king, Tipu wanted to make his kingdom strong. He knew that a strong army was important. So, he trained his soldiers very well. He gave them new weapons. He also made something very special, war rockets. These rockets could fly in the sky and fall on enemy soldiers. The British soldiers were shocked when they saw these rockets. They had never seen such weapons before. Tipu was not only thinking about war. He also cared about his people. He wanted them to live good and happy lives. He gave land to poor farmers. He helped people start small businesses. He built roads, schools, and hospitals. He made sure that water reached villages. Tipu believed that a strong kingdom must have happy people. Tipu also loved science and new ideas. He invited engineers and experts from other countries like France and Turkey. He wanted to learn new things. He sent some of his people to Europe to learn about machines and factories. Tipu wanted to build a modern Mysore, where people used knowledge to grow. But while Tipu was making Mysore strong, the British East India Company was also growing. The British were taking over many parts of India. They wanted to rule the whole country. Tipu knew that one day, they would try to take Mysore too. So, Tipu started to make friends with other powerful countries. He wrote letters to France, Turkey, and even Afghanistan. He asked for their help against the British. He also tried to unite Indian kings, but many were afraid of the British or wanted to stay quiet. Tipu prepared his kingdom for war. He built strong forts. He trained his army more. He made secret war plans. He told his soldiers to always be ready. Tipu also wore a special ring with a tiger on it. He believed he was like a tiger, strong, fast, and fearless. Many people in Mysore loved Tipu. They called him the Tiger of Mysore. They believed that he would protect them. Children sang songs about him. Elders told stories of his bravery. Even his enemies respected him because he never gave up. Tipu also had a special dream. He wanted to see an India that was free from British rule. He did not fight for only Mysore. He fought for all of India. He wanted every Indian to live with pride and freedom. In this chapter of his life, Tipu Sultan proved that he was more than just a king. He was a brave leader, a smart planner, a kind ruler, and a man with a big dream. Tipu Sultan's fight against the British was not just one battle. It was a long and difficult war that lasted many years. Tipu knew that the British East India Company wanted to take over all of India. He also knew that Mysore was strong, but the British had more money, more soldiers, and many Indian kings as their friends. Still, Tipu was not afraid. He believed in courage, strategy, and the power of his people. The First Big War, Second Anglo-Mysore War. Tipu's first big war against the British happened when his father, Hyder Ali, was still alive. It was called the Second Anglo-Mysore War. Hyder Ali and Tipu together fought against the British army. During this war, Tipu led many battles on his own, even when he was very young. In one of the battles, Tipu moved his soldiers very fast through the forest and surprised the British. His plan worked perfectly. The British army was shocked and had to run away. Tipu's leadership made him a hero. After Hyder Ali died, Tipu became king and continued the war. In the end, the war stopped with a peace agreement, but both sides knew that the fight was not over. The Third Anglo-Mysore War. The British were not happy with Tipu. They wanted to defeat him and take control of Mysore. So, a few years later, they attacked again. This time, the British joined hands with two big Indian kingdoms, Marathas and Nizam of Hyderabad. Tipu was alone, but he did not give up. Tipu fought bravely. He used his famous rockets to attack the British. These rockets could fly in the sky and fall on enemy camps. British soldiers had never seen such weapons before. Many of them were injured or killed. The sky at night lit up with fire and smoke. It looked like stars falling from the sky. Tipu also used clever war tactics. He would not always fight face to face. Sometimes, he would cut the enemy's food supply. Sometimes, he would attack at night. His goal was to make the enemy tired and weak. But even with all his bravery, the enemy was too big. The British and their Indian allies had a much larger army. After many battles, Tipu had to sign a peace treaty. He was forced to give up half of his kingdom. It was a painful day for him. Even worse, the British took 2 of Tipu's sons as hostages. They said the boys would stay with them in Madras until Tipu paid a large amount of money. Tipu agreed to the deal, but it broke his heart to see his sons taken away. The fourth and final war. Tipu never stopped preparing. He wanted to win back the lost land. He made new alliances with France. He trained his army harder. He fixed old forts and built new ones. He also made more rockets and weapons. In 1799, the British came again. This was the fourth and final Anglo-Mysore War. This time, the British were ready with a very large army. They brought many cannons and soldiers. They surrounded Srirangapatna, Tipu's capital. Tipu fought with all his strength. He wore his best armor and carried his sword. Even when many of his soldiers were killed, he did not leave the battlefield. He fought until his last breath. He died like a true warrior, inside the fort, with his sword in hand. When the British found his body, they were shocked. They had defeated the king, but they could not defeat his spirit. Many British officers said, "Tipu was the bravest enemy we ever fought." A symbol of courage. Tipu Sultan may have lost his kingdom, but he won something greater, respect. Even today, people remember him as a true patriot. He did not give up his land, his people, or his honor. He fought for freedom, for justice, and for his country. Tipu once said, "It is better to live one day as a tiger than 100 years as a sheep." And he lived by those words. After Tipu Sultan died in 1799 during the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War, many people in India and around the world were deeply moved. The British may have won the war, but they could not erase Tipu Sultan's memory. Even today, more than 200 years later, people still talk about Tipu as one of the greatest freedom fighters in Indian history. A hero to the people. In Mysore, where Tipu ruled, the people continued to love and respect him. They told stories of his bravery, kindness, and strength. Children grew up listening to tales of the Tiger of Mysore, a king who never bowed down to the British, even in his final moments. In villages and towns, people remembered how Tipu gave land to poor farmers and helped build roads and schools. He made sure that the people had enough food and water. He never ruled for his own comfort, he ruled for his people. Even today, old forts, temples, mosques, and roads built during Tipu's time still exist. In Srirangapatna, where Tipu fought his last battle, people visit his tomb to pay respect. His beautiful tomb, with white walls and a golden dome, is a symbol of honor. A symbol of resistance. Tipu Sultan's name is known across India not just as a king, but as a symbol of resistance. He fought against one of the biggest empires in the world, the British Empire. He was not afraid to stand alone. When other Indian rulers chose to work with the British for safety, Tipu chose freedom over fear. He wrote letters to many leaders, including the French emperor, to form an alliance against British rule. He also tried to bring Indian rulers together to fight for their land. He believed that India should stay free and united. His famous quote still inspires many people today. Better to live one day as a tiger than 100 years as a sheep. This means it is better to live bravely for a short time than to live in fear for a long time. Tipu lived by this belief until the very end. Contributions to science and warfare. Tipu was not only a brave fighter but also a modern thinker. He loved science, technology, and learning. He understood the importance of innovation. That's why he is known as one of the first Indian rulers to use rocket technology in war. His rockets surprised and scared British soldiers. Tipu also created a strong navy to protect India's coasts. He built factories to make better weapons. He welcomed French and Turkish engineers to teach new skills to his people. He sent his men to learn about machines in Europe. Tipu dreamed of a powerful, modern India. Even today, military experts study Tipu's war techniques. His use of iron-cased rockets is believed to have inspired later European designs. This shows that Tipu was far ahead of his time. Remembered in Indian history. In modern India, Tipu Sultan is remembered in schools, books, and history lessons. His story is taught to children so they can learn about courage and patriotism. Many places in India are named after Tipu: roads, parks, schools, and buildings. Every year, many people visit Tipu's palace and museum in Srirangapatna. His sword, which was taken to England after his death, is now kept safely in an Indian museum. It is one of India's proudest historical objects. Statues of Tipu Sultan stand in many parts of South India. These statues are not just stone or metal, they remind people of a leader who loved his country more than his life. While most people see Tipu as a hero, some debates continue. Some say he was too strict with his enemies. Others argue about his religious policies. But no one can deny that Tipu stood strong against British rule when many others stayed silent. History may not be perfect, but Tipu's courage, intelligence, and love for India make him one of the most powerful figures in Indian freedom history. A legacy that lives on. Tipu Sultan did not live to see a free India, but his dream did not die. Many years later, in 1947, India became free from British rule. Many leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and Subhas Chandra Bose were inspired by freedom fighters like Tipu. Today, whenever people talk about fighting for justice, they remember Tipu. When students talk about patriotism, they talk about Tipu. When people dream of a strong and proud India, they look back at leaders like the Tiger of Mysore. His life teaches us that true leadership is about courage, kindness, and standing up for what is right. Tipu Sultan may be gone, but his spirit lives on. In every Indian heart that believes in freedom, the Tiger of Mysore still roars.